Have you ever wondered, what am I really here for? You look back at your life, your gifts and experiences, and still feel like something's missing. I've been there. Purpose isn't always loud. It's not always obvious. It doesn't show up as a lightning bolt. It often whispers through our choices, our alignment, and our quiet yes. We're on the journey of 10 lessons I learned before 40. On the first episode, I gave you the first 10, and today, I'm going to talk about the next 10 that helped me discover my purpose. Not the cliche version, the real, gritty, identity-rooted kind that builds a life of clarity and direction. Because when you align with your assignment, everything changes. Let's do it. The first thing we need to talk about is purpose isn't found, it's followed. You say, how am I supposed to follow something I ain't found yet? Be easy, I've got you. The mistake we make is we think that purpose is something we stumble across, like a treasure that's buried in the ground. But that's not how it works. Purpose doesn't show up in its full form. It shows up as a pull. It's like headlights on a dark road. You don't see the whole path, but as you move forward, more of the road reveals itself to you. The key is not to wait for certainty, but to follow the breadcrumb trail of alignment. For those of you that don't know, my background is in training. So I climbed the corporate ladder and I became a director of training. During my time as a director of training, I spoke to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And I was training them in things like leadership. I was training them in things like customer service. I was training them in personal development. Eventually, the company started to fail and the director team was laid off. And in hindsight, it was revealed to me that the whole reason I became a director of training and I spoke to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people is so that I could develop a skill to be able to talk to you every week. So what I thought was just a job was a training ground to walk in my purpose. Oh, come on now. And I never knew that I would do this. I just knew that I had a passion for training. And because I had a passion for training, I took one small step towards that. I began to walk in that, and eventually I was given the title that allowed me to be in that training ground. So what small step do you need to make that can move you one step closer to aligning with your purpose? Nothing is as it appears. You might be entering the training ground. Lesson number 2. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean you're called to it. Skill doesn't equal calling. Just because you have a great sense of humor does not make you a comedian. And we all have things that we can do, but that doesn't mean that we're supposed to do them forever. Have you ever been stuck in a job where you were thriving at the task? On paper, you were killing the game, but inside you were miserable? That's often because while you are performing a talent, you are neglecting a calling. Talent fills a role, but calling fills your soul. So I challenge you to make 2 lists, one of what you're good at and another one of what brings you peace. Then ask where they overlap. Myron Golden, one of my favorites. Myron has a saying that your purpose is found at the intersection of your proficiency and your passion. This means that you can be proficient in an area but not passionate in an area. It also means that you could be passionate in an area and baby, you might be lacking some proficiency. So your purpose is found at the intersection of both. Lesson number 3 is passion fades but commitment sustains. Passion is a spark, but sparks don't keep fires going. Fuel does. And one of the lessons that I've had to learn is that if we only move when we feel passion, we'll quit the moment the fire gets hard to keep. Purpose thrives in commitment, not just in excitement. And the people who are living purposefully, they show up even on the days they don't feel like showing up. So what's the area that you've been waiting to feel before you take action? Replace the feeling with commitment and start now. Number 4, the version of you that fits everywhere is not the one called to change anything. I'm gonna put it to you like this. Most of us were trained to fit in and not stand out. But purpose isn't polite. In fact, purpose refuses to shrink to make others feel comfortable. And if your current identity is built around being accepted, it's probably suppressing the version of you that is supposed to lead. Like Les Brown says, you can be the thermostat or the thermometer. One fits into the environment and just reports what it sees. The other transforms the environment. So what parts of you have you been hiding in order to stay accepted? Start showing up whole, even if it costs the applause. Number 5, purpose feels like peace, not pressure. The world tells you that your calling should feel like a hustle, but true alignment doesn't come with anxiety. A plane doesn't struggle to fly once it reaches altitude. In fact, it glides. That's what purpose feels like. There's a lot of effort on the takeoff, but you reach a level where there's ease. And that's why you don't hear the accomplished say things like, I'm trying. Try is the language of the weak. And although your purpose will stretch you, it shouldn't drain you. So take inventory. What areas of your life feel forced right now? What area feels light, like peace? That's the path. The 6th thing I learned is to stop asking for clarity before commitment. We are so funny because we want God to give us the full blueprint before we take the first step. But I want to pose a different perspective. Is it possible that clarity is the reward of movement and not the prerequisite for movement? And you might be someone that's always praying for clarity. And if you are, I used to be that way. But I eventually realized that I wasn't stuck because I didn't have the answers. I was stuck because I hadn't taken action. And sometimes your next level is locked behind a step of faith. What have you been delaying because you don't feel clear yet? Take one step anyway. The 7th thing I've learned is proximity is a shortcut. Get around purpose-driven people. Avoid your cousin Nook Nook, your auntie Peaches, and anybody else who is not purpose-driven, because your environment either feeds the purpose or it fights against it. One of the most popular quotes is, if you're the smartest, most purpose-driven person in your circle, that's not a circle, it's a cage. Proximity accelerates alignment. And when you're around people that are living with clarity, it rubs off. So audit your circle. Who inspires purpose and who drains it? Start leaning towards the voices that stretch your calling. Lesson number 8, your vision doesn't need permission. Purpose isn't up for a vote. And I'm gonna warn you, too many dreams die in committee. And what's crazy about us is often we will ask for permission from others who don't even understand their own assignment. They gonna give you clarity on yours, but they don't even know what's going on in their own life. All right, let me calm down. Stop shrinking your vision to make it make sense in small-minded people. And if you're watching me, make a decision to stop waiting for your vision to be validated and give yourself permission and say out loud, what I am doing matters, even if no one claps yet. Because I'm gonna tell you about people, and I'm gonna go to number 9, I'm moving to number 9, but nobody cares until everybody cares. And then they gonna come out the woodwork. Oh, we always knew they were gonna do that. I remember she had that gift as a child. I was there. The 9th lesson I learned about purpose on my way to 40 is the assignment is bigger than your insecurity. Listen to me. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too inexperienced. Your assignment is not about your comfort. It's about your contribution. And if no one's ever told you, I've come to let you know that you've been chosen for something that's bigger than your doubts. And purpose requires you to lead even while you're still healing. Write down your biggest insecurity. In response, write away that you still made an impact in spite of it. That is the very proof that you're still worthy of that assignment. The 10th and most important thing I've learned about purpose on the way to 40 is to trust your only. What you downplay is often what you're designed to lead with. We've talked about this before, I have a whole video on it. But your only, the thing you brush off, minimize, overlook, that's usually the very thing that you were meant to lead with. And my favorite way to put this is although a candle doesn't light a whole stadium, it still keeps someone from stumbling in the dark. And if you're listening to me and your only doesn't feel significant, know that it is specific and it is important. If you're looking for your purpose, stop waiting to find it in the distance. Start walking in it today. Because purpose isn't found, it's followed. As you walk the path, it becomes clearer. If you enjoyed that video, I want you to drop in the comments, I'm choosing purpose even when it's not perfect. And tell me which one of these 10 lessons resonated with where you're at currently. Hey, this is part 2 in the 40 lessons I learned before 40. I'm just getting started. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you. And I'll see you on the next one.